pray for us as we talk to you a little bit about the words of life. This is what this is, folks. It's not a book about, about somebody. This is who he is. This is who the Lord is, inspired by his Spirit to those who will take this word and bring it to you and I so that we could live. It is a book of life. And from the very beginning, folks, when God created Adam and Eve and put them in the garden, and I know when you look at that story, sometimes it seems like that, he created them and put them in the garden, and the next day they were sinning. But we don't really know how long it was that man walked in that perfect fellowship before he decided that he would do it his way. And from that time that man walked away from the words that was bringing him life, and he began to seek out his own way of doing things. The Lord would send the prophets and people to warn his people of what was happening and how they needed to walk in his words of life. But constantly man was disagreeing with God. And we don't say, well, I disagree with God. But any time that we get out of what God has given us, these words, any time that we are living opposite from what this says, we're just disagreeing with God. And man has always done that since sin entered, because we always want to have it our way. But our way is the ways of death. The Bible tells us that everybody's right in his own eyes. Right? We think we're right. But God is eternal, and he knows what it is that will allow us to live and what it is that will kill us. And folks, sin will kill us. But over and over and over, all throughout history, since Adam failed, man has decided to do things his way, and they change the word of God into things that will fit the way they're thinking. And it never works out good. The reason that we are where we are in the world situation today is because man figured it out and left God's ways. But over in 1 Kings, and I hope you have your Bibles, there was a man named Elijah, the prophet. And at that time, there was a king named Ahab. And his wife was a worshiper of Baal. And Baal, they sacrificed their children to this big idol. And because she was queen, so many people in Israel was trying to go along with the government and still calling themselves by the name of the Lord. See, things don't ever change, really. They were still saying we're Abraham's children, still claiming to be right with God, but they were going after the traditions of Baal because of the influence of the queen. And so, we all know this story. So Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal and the people of Israel concerning the way that they were living. Now Ahab, again, the Bible says this about Ahab. It says he sold himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, which Jezebel, his wife, stirred up. Said this king had sold it. In other words, he was totally committed to work wickedness because of his wife. And so all of Israel had been kind of caught in this division, holding on to Baal and still trying to hold on to the Lord with the other hand. And I'm going to tell you something, folks, like it or not, the attitude of the country begins with the leadership. Leadership in the natural, leadership in the spiritual. It begins with the pastors in the pulpit. It begins with whoever we elect to lead the nation. Is that all right? It's the truth anyway. But Elijah had challenged the prophets of Baal and the people of Israel. In verse 21, in chapter 18, it says this. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, How long halt you between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Now, what Elijah was saying to them, are you going to spend your whole life not really founded in anything? Check out the evidence. If God is God, listen to him. If God is God, agree with him. If God is God, form your life to fit his way. If he's not God, follow Baal. But look at the evidence. You know, he didn't say you got to do away with Baal. He said, hey, if Baal's God, just follow him. But if God's God, follow him. But don't keep being hung up between two opinions. And folks, let me tell you something. If you don't take time to get in this Word and find out who God is, you can never be pleasing to him. Because it's impossible, the Bible tells us, to please him without faith. And you don't have, he gives us that measure of faith, but it never grows unless we get in the Word and find out what he said. Oh, I'm following God. Well, if you're not in the Word, if you don't know where God is trying to lead you, you're not following. You're just hoping to go to heaven. And I'm persuaded to believe that there's more folks in America today that they're not really wanting to go to heaven, they just want to miss hell. You say, well, how do you say that? Well, I see the way they live. They want to hold on to God enough that they can maybe make it to heaven, but it's not their desire because they're still living like hell. They just want to miss hell. But and we all know the story of Elijah, how he challenged them, and they made an altar, and he said that the God that answers by fire be God. And so, that's a familiar story. We learned that in Sunday school. How he destroyed the prophets of Baal. But Elijah was saying this to them. If you say that God is God, agree with him. Even the Word says, how can two walk together except they agree? Agree with him. If you want peace in your life, if you want joy in your life, if you want to see the blessings of the Lord in your life, agree with him. Because he didn't just decide one day to put a bunch of burdens on us, and living for God is not a burden. Folks makes it a burden when they begin to disagree with what he said. If he's God, agree with him. And the only thing, again, that makes Christianity hard to people, and I've heard people say, it's just so hard to live a Christian life. You ever heard anybody say that? Why is it hard? Why would it be hard? It gets hard when you start disagreeing with God. Now, you've heard people say this, I could live for Jesus if I didn't work down there with that bunch. You can't live for Jesus and work with that bunch. Yes, you can. If you keep agreeing with God, not only can you work with that bunch, you'll win some of that bunch. See? But it becomes hard when we start disagreeing with the Word and still saying we're Christians, still saying we're following the Lord. You ever heard anybody say this? I'm a Christian, but I'm still sinning every day. Yes. You don't hear people say, I'm a Christian, but I'm disagreeing with God every day. They don't look at it like that. But if I'm still doing what I know God does not want me to do, and hung up in it every day, folks, I'm disagreeing with God. Boy, it's quiet. But Jesus said this. Jesus said, very, very, when you see him saying very, very, saying things twice, it means pay attention if it can tell you something important. And he said, in John 8:34-36, he said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin, and the servant abides not in the house forever, but the Son abides ever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. So what am I doing walking around here bragging on sin when Jesus set us free? We're disagreeing with God. If I'm still bound up in stuff, and I'm not talking about battling, because the devil will bring the battle to you. But I'm talking about when he brings it to you and you can agree with what Jesus said, your defense is, no, devil, I'm free. I don't need your chain. I'm free. But if we start looking at it that way, that the things that goes against God's word is because we're disagreeing with God. If we start looking at it that way, it would change our whole attitude about the way we live. See? Agreeing with God, and when you agree with this book, you're agreeing with God. And agreeing with God, it opens the doors to His promises. And disagreeing starts chipping away at your faith. It starts destroying that God has given you so that you could believe and walk in it. Well, we start saying, I don't know about that. And I've heard Christians say this. I know that's what the Bible says, but don't start trying to fit the Bible into what you want to do, but let the Bible fit you into what God has said so that you can be free. The Bible doesn't need any adjustments. But have you ever wondered why we've got all of these versions? Y'all looking at me. I don't know how many versions have we got that we call Bible. And we leave out this, and don't get me wrong, I'm not just a King James only. I think King James is probably the best version we got. But we've got down to it now, to books that call themselves Bibles, that you cannot hardly even tell that it was supposed to be based on this. And folks, it's written that way because folks disagree with the first, with the real translation. We've got gender-friendly Bibles. And we've got what they call green Bibles. We've got Bibles that never says he or she either. Takes out things. That's because people just disagree on what God said. And we've got, just this week, some of y'all probably saw it. There's two. One of them is really like top notch. Women teachers sold millions of books. Both of them did that. CDs. And this week we've had two come out agreeing with the homosexual agenda. Two. Changing what the Word said to fit what man now desires. See? But reckon God changed his mind because they did. Disagreeing with what the Word said, folks, will not help anybody, and it will destroy you. See, we want to uphold and we want to uplift this lifestyle because, hey, there's so many now, that's in it. Now, I want to uplift them where they can come out of that lifestyle. But to agree with them changes nothing. It doesn't change God's mind, and it does not help them. See? But Jesus said He came that we could be free. Free. If you hear people say, I really try. And I hear this all the time too. I'm really trying to be a Christian. I'm really trying. But I just don't have the faith to live it like the Bible says. Yes, you do. You get decided not to. The faith, the seed of faith that He's put in us, we can grow it or we can let it lie there dormant. But it is enough to carry us through everything that comes our way. Agreeing with God. Agreeing with God. Disagreeing with God. What did He do to Adam? Go by the graveyard and see what disagreeing. And people say this, oh, they look at that, oh, you know, God demands that we love Him. If we don't, He's just going to kill us and burn us forever. What kind of God is that? No, that's not the story. The story is He told Adam how to live. And Adam chose another way. He told us how to live. How many ways have we chose before we got back to God? See, God said this in the Bible, over in Romans 8. He said, in all things we are more than conquerors through Him that loved us. You want to be victorious in everything that the devil brings against you? Understand that you're more than conquerors and start agreeing with God. More than conquerors. And if you'll read that, the verse right above where Paul says we're more than conquerors talks about Christians being killed. And we look at that in the natural and we say, that don't sound like conquerors, they're being killed. But God said that He would never leave us or forsake us. God said that He was going to raise us up so that we could be with Him. So it doesn't make any difference about this old life. If we die, the promise of God to us is we shall live again. I agree with that. I agree with that. Talking to a guy yesterday about Jesus. He said he just read an article. And in the article they was trying to explain how the disciples had enough time when they buried Jesus to slip over there and bribe the guards and steal the body. And that's what happened. You know, somebody wrote an article about the resurrection of Jesus. That 2,000 years after the fact, they figured it out. They bribed the guards and stole His body. But yet, they were willing, the disciples were willing to go to their dead saying, I saw Him alive. They were willing to see their whole families killed instead of denying what they saw. Folks, you might die. I might die for something that I believe was so. I'm not dying for something that I know is a lie. They knew that He was who He said He was because they saw Him alive after the crucifixion. I'm standing here today because He said when He got back to the Father, He would send us another comforter. He would not leave us comfortless. He would send one. I'm standing here today because He sent me a comforter that lives in. I know He made it back. Now you can have all the theories that you want to have. I agree with what God said He would do, and God said, I'll raise Him up. That was the promise. That He would not suffer him to see corruption. In other words, He wouldn't allow His body to rot. Neither will you leave my soul in the grave. That was what the prophet said about Him long before He was born. I agree with that because I have a living witness in me. If you know Him this morning, you can agree with that because you have a living witness in you. It opens the doors, agreeing with Him, opens the doors to all His promises. All of them, folks. Now, what He said, and I like this about God. You know, He always talks in the positive. What He says, folks, He has the power to make sure it comes to pass. You won't ever see God saying, I hope this happens. You'll never see in this Word where He says, you know, if I can work this out, Everything is like it's already done. You know what that is? In Him it already is. It's already done. I hear folks, saw another one just this week. You know, where folks they're not just mad because people teach about the rapture. Folks, it's already done. You say, well, I'm still here. No, in God's eyes, the way God sees it, it's already done. When old John, when he was showing John in Revelation about what was coming to pass, he showed it in the future in heaven, and there was the church. Seated. See? I agree with him. I agree with him. Now, we always get in trouble. Disagree. We always get in trouble. We let the circumstance change our mind. Now, over in Genesis 15, God told Abraham, verse 18, I believe it is. He said, unto thy seed I have given this land. Now, he brought Abraham up out of the land of the Chaldeans. He showed him all that land that was out there. And he said, unto thy seed I have given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river Euphrates. And people still argue with God about that. But he said, I'm going to give it to you, seed. But when it come time for Abraham's seed to accept the gift, now Moses sent out, he sent out spies throughout the land to see what it looked like. You can read that story. It's over in Numbers 13. He sent out spies and said, go check the land out, see what it looks like. Now don't forget, God said, I have given. Already given. It's already yours. I've given it to you. Now he sent out spies, and the Bible says this, and they brought up an evil report of the land which they searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it was men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so were we in their sight. They said, we can't take this land. We went over and looked at that land, and all of it was bigger than us. We disagree with you, God. We disagree with you. You said you'd given it to us, but there's some big old folks over there. There's some children of the giants over there. And when we compare ourselves to them, we just like grasshoppers. And they see us as grasshoppers. But if they went over there, knowing that the land was theirs, knowing the battle was God's, they could have went into that promised land and took it. We want things without a battle, folks. You got an enemy that's going to absolutely bring you a battle. But you got a God, we got a God that said that we were more than conquerors. Now, if you read on down there in chapter 14 of Numbers, you'll find out where they started saying things like this. Now, Moses had brought them out of Egypt, and he brought them out, into the wilderness, and God had fed them, and their clothes had wore out, and their shoes had wore out, and when they needed water, Moses smote the rock, and the water came out, and God had kept them out there all those years. But over in 14, they began to say, would to God we had died in Egypt or in the wilderness. They said it'd been better if we had just died where we were now. It'd been better if we just died in the wilderness. It would be better if we died than to accept what God said. Now how smart is that? See? Folks, they allowed what they saw to override what God said. And you know what happened? As you have spoken, so will I do unto you. Your carcasses will fall in the wilderness. They disagreed with God, what God had said. And the judgment came upon them. The harvest came. And all of them died in the wilderness except the two that said, no, we can take it because God said we could. Joshua and Caleb. They said, we'd rather die here. We just as soon have died in Egypt because every time it's going to kill us. God said, I'll give it to you. We can't take it. Can't take it. Disagreeing with God. Harvest. If we disagree with what this word said, harvest will start to agree with us. You ever notice that? Just start speaking negative against the word of God. And harvest will just start agreeing with you. Whatever you start saying, I can't do it. Harvest is saying, they can't do it. And you can't do it. Because the enemy is right there making sure you can't. My mama used to have a saying, and she'd say, Kate never did do nothing. She'd want me to do something when I was a little boy, and none of y'all ever made excuses to get out of what you didn't want to do, I'm sure. I can't do that. Kate never did do nothing. But when we start speaking that, it becomes a fact in our life because we don't put effort to it, because we can't do that. So, their harvest, they said, we can't take that land. It'd be better if we died out here. The Lord said, all right. There you go. And none of them except the two that agreed with God ever made it into the promised land. They died in the wilderness. And folks, when things happen, when the devil brings things into our lives, we don't deny that fact. I don't deny the fact that I battle with things that the devil brings into my life and in the life of my family. The battle is real. I don't deny that. I deny it's right to be in my life. And I stand and carry on the battle. What about you? I'm not waving a white flag. I'm not accepting what the devil said. And I've heard people talk about and just claim it, things happening in their life. Well, this, I have this. What is it, yours? Did God send it? Then we're going to keep battling it. We're going to keep battling it. So, and we're all, I guarantee you, if I took a poll right here, we all have something that the devil's brought into our life through the door that Adam keeps open for sin right now. It's not ours. So we go to war with it by agreeing with what God said about it. See? We do. I was telling the guy the other day, and I'm not trying to make this about me because it's about Jesus. It's all about him, folks. Don't ever get tired of it. It's about what he said. I can say anything. If I'm not agreeing with him, it doesn't mean anything. It'll push you down. But if you agree with him, folks, he can manifest, and he'll see that his own word is brought to pass. But I was working with a guy, and me and him both that day, it's in the wintertime, had started running a fever, not feeling good, like the flu was coming on. Everybody around us had the flu. And he said, I feel like I'm catching the flu. He said, I'm going to get me a pint of whiskey when I get off of work. And I'm going to go to bed and drink it. He said, you want me to pick you up one? I said, no, I sure don't. I'm going to Jesus. I'll never forget it. He tell the story after that. But you see, that's the way Jesus is. The next morning, I got up, my finger was gone, my bones quit hurting, and I went to work. He was out a week. You know what? Because he claimed the flu. He claimed it. I'm catching the flu. Well, don't catch it. I'm trying to get a cold. Why? I don't want it. And if I feel like it's coming on, I'm going to start rebuking that thing. And see, standing against what the devil wants you to accept. And this morning, folks, not only in sickness, he wants you to accept everything that he brings so he can keep you tore down and worried and upset and broke and pitiful.
That's right.
You know, he had preachers preaching for years that you couldn't be a Christian unless you were barefooted and naked. You can remember those days? Some of you know, my age and a little bit younger can remember when most preachers were saying, oh, God, don't, you know. They read that about the rich man. It's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than it is for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. I said, see there, God don't want you to prosper. How crazy. What Jesus was saying, it's harder for a man that has his trust in the money to get into heaven because they quit trusting God. And they preached Jesus, a poor beggar on the street. We even sung songs about him being a beggar on the street. How in the world can a beggar take care of 12 men full time? For 3.5 years, I know Peter had a family. Full time. You mean to tell me that Jesus, that God sent his son down here and said, I want you to learn to preach to them folks. I want you to tell them that I'm going to bless them. And I want you to tell them that I want to love them and I want to see them uplifted. And here Jesus is just walking around, poor and begging for food. It didn't happen, folks. It did not happen. Jesus knew who he was. You tell me a man that could take a few fish and a few loaves of bread and feed 5,000, walked around hungry? No. God supplied his need. And he wants to supply our need. We have times when needs overtake us. I do. But you know what? I don't claim the need. I claim the supply. Because that's what God said that I can have. See? He said that. He said that. And I'm going to say this again. You've heard me say it a bunch of times already. God don't care how much you prosper. He don't care. As long as you know where it comes from and you're walking after him with it. I told you the story. We was in church one time today. That's back before I decided that I couldn't find all these committees in the Bible. And we had all these committees. And they put me on a committee, which was a mistake to start with, but and so, you know, they had agreed with the pastor that they would pay the pastor a certain percentage of whatever tithes. I mean, they wouldn't know we're going to pay you this. It was just whatever tithes came in. We're going to pay you a certain percentage. Well, the church filled up with people. I mean, it filled up with people. And so they called a committee together. And they said, wait a minute now. Do you realize how much we're paying the preacher? We want to cut it. I said, that ain't what we said. That is not what we said. I'm not cutting nothing. I'm not agreeing with cutting anything. We said this much of the tithes we was going to give to the pastor. Said they were willing to go against their own word to stop the prosperity that God was blessing the pastor with. You know where the church is today? It's closed. But we need to agree with, hey folks, if we can't agree with what we said, how can we agree with what God said? But we have to learn to agree with what he said. Now, and I got to hurry. If you go over over in 2 Kings, the chapter 7, the prophet that replaced Elijah was Elisha. And the Syrians had besieged Samaria. And as I was reading and studying this, it happens the same way every time. They had surrounded it and wouldn't let anything come in, wouldn't let anything go out, and people were getting hungry over there in Samaria. And the first thing the king said was, I'm going to find Elijah and take his head. They weren't blaming it on what they had sown. They were blaming it on the man of God who kept telling them what was happening. They said, we'll just settle this. We'll go over and kill him. Happens now. It happens now. If you don't like the message, destroy the messenger. But 2 Kings 7, verse 1, look at this. Then Elisha said, hear ye the word of God. Thus said the Lord. You get that? Thus said the Lord. Tomorrow about this time shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel in the gate of Samaria. Then the Lord on whose hand the king leaned answered the man of God, and said, behold, if the Lord would make windows in heaven, might this thing be? He said, behold, I shall see it with thine eyes, but shall not eat thereof. Now, this guy said, hey, the Lord can't do that. We've got Syrians all around us. If he just made windows in heaven and just poured it out, it couldn't be. Elisha said, well, you shall see it, but you won't be partakers of it. And when this thing began to work out, and the Lord began to open that door and break that siege, and they were taking what the Syrians had out there, you know what happened to that Lord? It said, it can't happen. They ran over him in the gate and trampled him to death. Because he said, no, I ain't believing that. And so they got the supply that the Lord said he sent him. But the guy that said it ain't happening, it didn't happen for him. It didn't happen for him. Faith in what God said brings God's promises into our path. Disagreeing with what God said brings the harvest into our path. Now, even with Jesus and the disciples, folks, we see it with him. You remember, well, let's just go over and look at that. Mark 4. And again, it's a familiar story. But we'll just read, because there's some good stuff right there. We'll start with verse 35. It's funny, I got this, I bring it once in a while, I got this big letter edition. It's not the one I study in. And everything's on the wrong page. And I now have to look at where I know things that I know where it's at in other Bible. But Mark 4, verse 35 says this. In the same day, when the evening was come, he said unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. There you see what the Lord said. And when he had sent away the multitudes, they took him even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awakened him and said, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Now, do you see the thing that he said to start with is we're passing over to the other side. That's what he said. And they agreed with it to start with because they just started that way. They it. Okay, we'll do that. And you see how concerned Jesus was that his word wouldn't work? He just went on back in the back and went to sleep. You know why he did that? Because he knew they was going to the other side. Because he'd already said so. And then when the circumstances began to look like they wasn't going to make it, they forgot that the Lord had said they were going to make it. And so they went and woke him up. And he rebuked the wind. And, it kind of got on to them in one place there where here he said, what's wrong with you? You don't have any faith. What's wrong with you? Did you hear what I said? And I'm going to guarantee you, folks, when you get a hold of what God said about any situation, I mean a hold of where you know, now this is mine, you're going to find a storm in your way. They found the storm, and the storm became greater than the word. We have to realize, and it's something that we have to train ourselves to do. I'm still working on it. That when the storm comes up in our life, we have to realize it's the devil trying to stop you from some blessing that God has got for you in front of you. He's trying to put up detour signs where you say, well, it don't work for me. Every storm is to stop you from reaching the place that God has for you to reach. Let's agree with him. Let's agree with him. Let's go over to the other side. You want to? He said we could. He said we could. We see all this stuff happening in America now, and a lot of Christians just wringing their hands. No, I told you we was in the time of chaos, and we are. It's going to get worse. Don't say that. That's negative. No, I'm not talking about it's going to get worse for you. I'm talking about it's going to get worse because people are disagreeing with what God said. They are. I agree with him that right in the middle of the storm, I'm still victorious. I'm still victorious. I'm still going to the other side, aren't you? And I look at these people, of Israel out there in the wilderness for 40 years. He fed them. He kept them clothed. He kept water. They carried the flocks, took care of it. And then I hear Christians under the blood of Jesus walking in that covenant with Christ, saying, I just don't know what we're going to do. Well, what God said. If he wakes me up and says, Jerry, I don't know what I'm going to do, then I'll get panicked. But knowing that he knows what he's going to do, I'm fine. We can be fine. We can be fine. Because these things that's coming, it's going to push you upward and outward, out of here. Out of here. There is a land brighter than that. Hallelujah. I want to walk over there one day with him. He said, if I go away, I will come again and receive you into myself. And where I am, there you may be also. I agree with that. I agree with that. He made Eden, and it was all things was good. He said, behold, I make all things new. He's going to put it back like he started with. And there's not going to be any death, any pain, any sorrow, none of this junk that sin brought in. I agree with you, Jesus. I agree with you. Hallelujah. All right, I hope we see.